So let's get started on this part 2 from black to blondes. This session I'm anticipating to be 3 hours. I'm going to do a global foil back to back. We're going to go low and slow with 7 lift powder and 7 volume. I'm going to mix it in this very large bowl so I don't have to worry about remixing too often. Even though I do like fresh batches, we are going to be moving very fast, so this really isn't going to have a lot of time to get old, if you know what I mean. So from top to bottom, global foil, let's get started. One that I use in particular, the Blonde Me, the only 7 level lift that they have, at least in our store, is clay. So I make do with this particular lightener. I'm doing a double scoop. And I'm going to do a bit of a free pour with my 7 volume. I'm going to use my giant whisk. And we're going to test consistency. Looks about right. I need it runny enough that it's going to saturate, thick enough that it's not going to slide. Perfect. I'm going to set my giant whisk on a foil. The giant whisk, giant bowl is very helpful for color corrections when you just need a lot more space for all of your products. We're going to get started on part 2 of our blonding session. Part 1 brought us to this lovely ashy kind of mauve-y dark blonde. This one I'm anticipating getting to platinum, so that's basically from black to blonde in 6 hours, or I should say black to platinum blonde in 6 hours. I'm going to start on this top section because when I started the blonding last time I started in the back, and this part, all this underneath area is lighter, and the top part has a little more pigment. So this time I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to start the front panels first. I'll check on them. If they need to be rinsed, I'll rinse them. If not, I will start a fresh batch and then work the back. you wouldn't need to necessarily bag these panels, but because I'm working on a mannequin that's plastic and has no heat, I had to heat it a tiny bit and then bag it. It's summertime in here and the AC is going kind of non-stop, so it's quite a bit cold. And as a hairdresser, if you're trying to get lift out of hair and it's cold, your product will actually just stop working. Essentially, I've had this happen before. So I heated her very, 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 very mildly, and then bagged. And we're just gonna let her kind of marinate for about 15 to 20 minutes. I'm going to check on her. I really want this to get a platinum blonde, but we'll see what we're actually going to get. What I will do is I will open up the foil, I will slide down, I'll do an elasticity test, I will make sure that that hair is healthy. It is critical that you treat the hair like it's in the fragile state that it's in. This is a color correction. This is going from blonde to black to blonde. We are literally not messing around with this. You could easily melt hair off at this stage, and I refuse to do that. So this hair, we want it to be absolutely healthy. If it doesn't get to completely platinum, it is what it is. I made this hard for myself to begin with when in the dyeing it to black, showing the difference between Pravana Vivid's black and my custom Vivid's black. I applied the black direct dye twice and then let it marinate extra long. In doing so, I made the removal process harder for myself. What I expect anyone to do is to go ahead and use my custom black to begin with, let it sit for maybe about 30, wash it out, and it should be good. So I made this hard on myself, and it is harder to remove. So let this be a lesson. Let's do a quick elasticity test. We're going to check the color. As I mentioned before, the top was darker than the rest. It still is. Some of it's trying to lift. Hair is feeling really good. It's trying. It is definitely trying. Some parts, like I said, are getting lighter than others. If I have to touch up certain foils, then I will. With something a teeny bit stronger just to get it past. I needed to get a little bit further, especially here on the top. And I think I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I'm going to check these bottom pieces. And if they're looking lighter, which they are, then that definitely means I'm going to reapply on all the ones that are still darker. Marked off where I need to reapply, going through the foils. All the foils outside the cap is what I need to redo. I'll be going over it with a stronger powder. It's an up to 8 and 20 volume, and all I'm going to do is simply go over the top. Just make it a little bit stronger so we can get it to move just a little bit faster. Done processing as much as I feel comfortable with. So we'll begin with washing her, and then I will give her a deep protein treatment. now that she has been washed, we're going to go through with the deep treatment, which is always the Joico K-PAK HKP liquid protein. We're going to spray this on, and we're going to let it sit on her head for about 15 to 20 minutes. I'm actually going to do a combination of the HKP and the deep penetrating reconstructing treatment as well, just to get some nice softness, some creaminess, like some creaminess in there. She needs a little more oil since we've stripped her all out, and then I will go through and tone her afterwards.